every once in a while, we've made some real breakthroughs in Herbalife with the concept of marketing, okay? When I first put together the original concept of the marketing plan, there was a number of things that we did in the company that were extremely unique in the marketing plan, okay? No one had ever come up with this concept where during the month you could go down on infinite amounts of levels, okay, and trap volume while you're working your downline to get huge, large group volumes and trap it so the royalties would be bigger. People hadn't thought about that back in 1980. They broke out when they did their certain levels, and it was stuck in those totals at that particular time. We came up with this system where it was trapped all the way down through however many levels it went during the month of qualification, and then that piled up to be bigger volumes for everybody and bigger royalties. And no question, Herbalife started beating every other company in the world on the way its royalty system worked and the way that the checks worked. Okay? Nothing has ever been changed in the marketing plan in the history in the original regular marketing plan. One of the other ingenious things that we came up with was the matching volume program. Okay, and I don't want to get into all the ramifications of why that's so important, okay, but the matching volume thing was a way for us to capture a whole lot of things in the company that were very, very important to us to check on how people are doing their business and if they're really qualifying supervisors and so on. It was a very important concept as far as being able to check on if people were loading everybody up, which was very easily to see. So matching volume was a big concept in the beginning. That original concept has not changed all the way for the last 16 years. But in 1992, we came out with a program that was an extra bonus program called the 246 bonus on our entire organization, and that completely changed the way people made money in our company. They were then able to go down and really look down amongst the organization, okay, past the 3 levels and pick out people that they thought that they could get some fast, quick business with and help jumpstart those people into different levels and make another type of earnings. And this did a couple of things for the company. Number one, we got more training going on in the field as a result of this marketing plan change than anything that we ever did. Because all of a sudden everybody was interested in going down into every single level. It really didn't make any difference who was coming to their meetings, who was coming to the trainings, who they were spending their time with, because they were able to make money on all the different levels, okay? So the first thing that happened to the company is we got more training out of the field, okay? So our field became better just as a result of the marketing plan change, much less what it did for everybody's checks. And for some of you who were involved in the check process back then, many of you had checks that jumped 5,000, some of you had checks that jumped 10,000, some of you had checks that jumped 20,000, and so on. And that was just to get it started. Remember that? Which month was the worst in that marketing plan change? The first month, which is exactly what's going to happen with this one. It's going to be fairly dramatic, what I show you here tonight, but the worst month is going to be this month. Okay? And it's going to get better the next month, and better the next month, and better the next month, and then it's going to be out of control by January, and we're going to have another system that nobody else out there in this kind of business is doing. Now write that in your notes. Yeah. There is no one else doing what I'm going to show you here tonight. This is the concept. Right now you earn, if this is you get to earn on your first generation, your second generation, and your third generation. Okay? Is that right? Yeah. Now, sometimes we get a guy that's down here on our 4th level that's absolutely going berserk. Okay? And he's doing $10,000 a month, and we get interested in this guy, but all of a sudden this guy, number 3, gets a little wind of what's going on with this fourth level. He's had serious brain damage for a while. And he pops back in and he places a 400-point order to kind of check out what things are going on, to get a 1% check to see if it'd be worth it to do 2,000. Okay? And what happens? You've just lost $500 royalties off this guy who did 10,000 points. Okay? Has anybody ever had that happen to him? Well, after tonight, that will never happen again. The concept is going to be that you'll always get to earn 5% on your first 3 levels. If anybody does less volume, okay, that blocks you out of the way, you're going to be able to skip down till you hit the next 3 people that do the full volume requirement to get 5%. Now here's what's exciting. That's the most boring part of the plan. Because that's only step number 1 on how you make the money. Okay? All the people in between that have been doing volume, that may be getting a 2% check, or a 3% check, or a 1% check, you get to not only earn the difference in what they earned, and it rolls up to you, but you get to keep skipping down until you get to the first 3 people who do 5%. Here's the third way we're going to make money with this. I think you all got a fairly good picture, okay, even though I'm going to show it to you in slides. But now I'm going to show you how you're really going to make some money. Because so far you've heard the most boring part of the plan. I just introduced to you a way of making more money for doing. That's the part where we're going to change the plan. No, what we're going to do is we're going to make more money by doing more work. Is what we're going to do. We're not going to have to do much more for this, but this little bit more is going to make so much money, it's going to be absolutely 100% unbelievable. Okay? Now, we're doing this for a couple of reasons. Okay? A is there's going to be a lot of free money rolling up to a lot of people. Okay? They shouldn't be getting this much free money without having to do a little bit extra work for it. Okay? I want to start installing the attitude around here. Do more work, get more money. It's been a principle that I've worked with for many years. Okay? The second thing is that, you know, we've only had 2 price increases in Herbalife, okay? And those price increases, we're never going to be able to do enough price increases to any degree to catch up with what's happened with inflation over the last 16 years, over what money means to how much business we're doing to our customers. In other words, if you looked at 16 years ago and you looked at today, you know, you do far less business today than you had to do 16 years ago in order to get to 4,000 volume points a month. Back then, $30 program, it took us however many programs that is. Okay, now what do? 40 boxes, you're a supervisor. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to raise the volume requirements to get all this free money. Okay, now watch how this works. This is going to be unbelievable. Instead of doing 2,000 to get your 5%, all you got to do, it's very simple, okay, but it's going to add up real big, is only 2,500. Right? We have a system called able to skip down and then earn on the first people that do their full 5%. That's the first way of making money. The second way of making money is called being able to earn the difference between what anybody else earns down the line, okay, that may be at 2, 3, or 4% that all rolls back up to the 3 up lines that's supposed to get the money. That's number 2. And then think of this. There's about 20,000 people in our company that are doing 2,000 a month to get the royalty overrides. Now they're all going to have to do 2,500. That's 20,000 people having to do 500. That's $10 million more increase in business. What does that mean? That means that approximately $1.5 million more a month is going to go out on the royalty overrides. So what have we talked about here? We've talked about being able to skip down, which is going to make us more money for doing nothing. Then we've talked about being able to earn the difference in the percentages of the people as we go down and it rolls up to the 3 first up lines. That's free money. We're going to make money that way, okay? But then for doing more work, $500 a month times a whole bunch of people that are doing it is where we're going to make some serious volume increases in money. So what is this weekend about? This weekend is going to be talking to you guys constantly about more work equals more money. So let's go through the marketing plan here, and you guys are just going to absolutely love this. By the way, every single person in your downline is going to love this. Every person. There ain't a person in your downline that isn't going to love this, and there isn't a person in your downline that you're not going to love. That's what's cool. This is the royalty override sliding scale for now on. It starts out here, you'll get this in print, hard copy tomorrow. Starts out at 500, you get 1%. 1,000, 2%. 1,500, 3%. 2,000, 4%. And 2,500, 5%. So someone says to me, listen, Mark, some of my people may have a real problem producing this extra $500 worth of business. And they say to me, well, by golly, all I'm going to do is my 2,000. Great! Unbelievable! Okay? I love you when you do 2,000 a month. Because not only does he get 4%, the difference between 4% and 5% is what? Who does that go to? You! So, the guy says to you, Mark, I've been hanging around this $1,500 a month, every single month, and I don't want to do any more than that. Fine. Okay? We love you. Okay? Go ahead, do your $1,500. Rah, rah, rah. Cheer, cheer, cheer. Love you, love you, love you. Okay? Difference between 2%, 3%, and 5% is 2%. Who does that go to? You. So now you love everybody. Everybody likes the plan. Okay, they can do whatever they want. And if they do more, what do? They get more. Okay, if they do the same, they get the same. And if you do more, you get more. See how it works? Let's go through supervisor qualifications. Still 4,000 in 1 month with 1,000 unencumbered, which is 90% of most of the people who break supervisor in the company. Okay? If they want to do it in 2 months, it's 2,500, 2 months in a row with 1,000 unencumbered. Okay? I want you guys to think about something, okay? Dermagetics comes out, and I want you to look down your statement. And there's still a lot of them that still, even though we introduced a new product, bought $2,001.92 worth of product. Is that right? Okay? Even though we got this new product. Well, now with the extra 500 increase, if we had had it in advance of Dermagetics, they would have bought the regular products that they got plus the Dermagetics and increased their business all the way to $2,501. Okay? Does everybody get that? Okay? So I want you to just think about your statements. Just think about your statements on there. Every single person that's doing 2,000s going to 2,500 next month, and just think what's going to happen to your check right there. Much less what's going to happen when all the people in between, some of them you don't even know about, you get the percentages in between that roll up to you, plus going down to the first 3 people that get their full qualifying volume, okay, not including your production bonus on all the people that have done 2,000 all the way down the line. And we're going to give you a few examples here this evening. We're going to talk to you about what's going to happen to a lot of you here this evening. And some of you are going to be extremely excited this evening. Let's go to the volume requirements for all the distributors. All the supervisors, in order to get their royalty checks, will still do 2,500 to get a full 5%. President's team members, since you're getting the most, who needs to work more? That's right. Even the president's team. So it's 2,500 at the president's team. We're still keeping 3,000 at the mill and still 5,000 at the get team level. Okay? So that's what everybody's got to produce a monthly to get their 2, 4, 6 checks. Okay? Now let me teach you the marketing plan and teach you how to teach the new marketing plan. Okay? And within a very quick period of time here, you're not even going to need to do this. Just sign the application, check comes in the mail. Okay? This is you up here at the top. You've done your full 2,500, so you are allowed to earn 5%. Now write this in your notes. You always on your first 3 levels earn 5% no matter how much volume they do. Okay? So on A, they did 2,500, you earned how much? 5%. Okay? B did 2,500. He's on the second level, you get 5%. C does $500 worth of business. Okay? On C, you earn 5%. Okay? Why? Because he's your third level. Get it down in your brain. No matter what happens on your first 3 levels, you always earn 5%. But normally, this guy would have cut you out of royalties. So we skip down here a generation, and D, who's on your 4th generation, did 2,500. C, who's at 500, who's only at 1%, got 1% on D. The difference of that 1% is how much? 4% now goes to who? The first person, you. Okay? Once this person blocked you before, okay? Now you're skipping a generation and getting to earn on your fourth level, okay? C earned 1% on D because they only did 500. That 4% points comes up to you and goes on your royalty check. That 4% that goes on your royalty check, if you were at 800 and you earn, let's say 5% of 2,500 is it's $125. Okay. If you were at 900 points, and this was implemented, and the 4% rolled up to you, and you got 125 more points, you now got your very first month of what? Get Team. But now let's take a little bit more wild example, okay? This is you up here at the top. And you do your 2,500. A did 2,500. On your first level, you always earn how much? 5%. B did 2,500. You always earn how much? 5%. Okay? C did 500. Okay? You get to earn how much? 5%. But because of C doing 500, what do you get to do now? Start going down to the first three people that hit 2,500. D did 500. C earned how much on D? 1%. The difference of that is how much? 4% goes to who? You. E did 500. D earned how much on E? 100. The difference of 1 and 5 is how much? 4. 4 goes to who? You. E does 500. Okay? E did 500. D gets how much on E? 1%. 4% goes to you. F did 500. Okay? E earned how much on F? 1%. 4% goes to you. G does 500. He gets 1%. 4% goes to you. H down here does 10,000. Okay? G earned how much on H? 4%? In other words, that $400 goes to you. Watch how incredible this is. Right? Watch how incredible this is. First of all, under the normal marketing system, you would have earned 5%, 5%, 5%. C is over here doing 500, and you're looking down this line, and all of a sudden you got this person down here doing 10,000. And what's your feelings about C? Exactly. You become mean, nasty, irritable individuals that are dreaming at night that you should be getting the money because you're down there working with H. Notice that it ended at H, Hughes plan. Okay? And now, what you got is you say, no problem, C. Keep doing your 500. No problem. Now you love C. And guess what? C loves you. Because you're not bugging him anymore. Okay? That's great. Okay? Because before, you were either trying to get him to do more business, or you were in the process of trying to kill him some way, or to get him to bounce his check at the order department so the volume could now you're in love with D, you're in love with E, you're in love with F, you're in love with G, and you really love H. Now, is that awesome or what? Is it retroactive for the last 15 years?
Wait for the last 5 minutes.
No, sorry, it isn't. Now, that does bring up a question, though. There are people that you pitched last month that you said that had to do 2,000 last month, 2,000 this month, okay? So anybody who's in that position, we don't want to change gears on them. So if they did 2,000 their first month last month, they can do 2,000 this month because that's the way you pitched them. We don't want to change your pitch and make liars out of you. Okay, so they got a free. But starting June 1st, everybody has to do 2,500 2 months in a row with 1,000 unencumbered. Okay, this show will continue to repeat all month long on HBN, so everybody can get clear on it. There's a mailer that's going out everywhere to every single supervisor that's going to get it, and everybody will be getting it probably in about a week, and in Europe you'll probably get it right around the 6th of the month. Okay? And so it's $2,500 also to get your royalty checks July 15th. Now here's about what we've been able to assess what's going to happen. Okay, as a result of this marketing plan change, okay? Between the roll-ups and the extra volume that will be done, okay? But we figured out that there's around 200 to 300 from this program that will immediately in July go to the GET team. Immediately, okay? About 200 to 300 are going to go from World to GET. Now you could just imagine your World team members that have been sweating trying to get to GET team, what this is going to do for their attitudes, okay? And I told you when we did the meetings and I told you when we did the broadcasts that in some cases this wasn't going to make huge amounts of differences for people. You know, in some of your guys' checks this is going to mean a $200 difference. But the $200 difference, if it gets them on the GET team, makes a big difference, okay? So we're going to have about 200 to 300 new attitudes running around the company. Quick, okay? We've looked at it and it looks like there's about 100 people that will immediately go to the GET team to the Millionaire team. First month. And what is the first month? The worst month. Because it's always the worst the first month that happens. And it looks like immediately there's going to be somewhere between 30 to 50 people that go from Millionaire to GET team. Most of you are sitting in this room. It's the President's team. Millionaire to President's team. You'll go. For sure. You could just imagine what's going to happen in the company with 30 to 50 all at one time going to the President's team. What's going to happen to this company? That's never happened in the history of the business, period. okay? And when that happens, trust me, there's going to be some serious new attitude in the company, okay? And there's also going to be a whole lot of more excitement, and there's also going to be a lot more people that instantly get interested in training their organization at all levels, okay? And that's going to help the company more than most of the stuff that we're even talking about. Doing more work, okay, to make more money, okay? And we're going to be talking a lot about that concept. Now, also what's going to come along with this so that you don't get confused, okay, is a royalty roll-up statement, okay? You can't see this very well, but what will happen here is you'll get your regular statement, okay, and then another statement that comes and it says, here's John Doe. He's on your 5th level. He did 800 points. He earned 2%, okay, and you got 3%, and that's your roll-up money, okay? Here's Jane Seymour. She's on your 25th level, okay? And she did 500 points, and you got 4% off of her points, and she's on this level. This will not only give you guys very good information on what your different levels will do, but it also will give you who you ought to really go after and try to get up and get some more business going, okay? So there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen from this statement. Then you'll get a summary statement here. Like this person here, we took their royalty statement, okay? This says that their royalty override, this is an actual person's check, but we're not going to tell you who it is. Their royalty check was 1,275 points, and their roll-up money, okay, is listed separately so that they know what's happening with the new marketing plan, was $929. So they went from $1,275 to $2,200 the first month. That didn't include one thing, though. That was only the free money. It didn't include taking the 2,000 points, everybody on the statement that did 2,000 points, and make them do 2,500, which is another sum of money, which might have got them very close to their first month of millionaire team, okay? And then what happens is, this is not even counting what's going to happen on our production bonuses, okay? You guys getting this? Hey, this is serious, okay? And the worst part of this is going to happen next month, okay? And we're talking about 200 to 300 new gets, 100 new mills, 30 to 50 new pres. Now, if we take the information we learned here this weekend, and we all went to work during the month of June, then we really see some action. Okay, we wouldn't see a lousy 300 people going from world to get. If we all went to work and went crazy and went bananas, okay, we could get it to 600 or 700 people to go to get in 1 month. If we could take it and go to 200 to 300 people on the millionaire team, and how about 100 people going to the president's team in 1 month? How about that? So, let's talk, yes?
All I can say is when the last marketing plan, by the way, my name's Tartol, and I'm from Denver, Colorado, right? And when the last marketing plan change went into effect, which was in 1992, I was on millionaire team, just barely hanging in there. And the next thing I knew, my check, which was about $5,000 at that point, went to over $15,000 the next month. So that's what happened to me. Incredible. And that was just the first month. And then 6 months later, I was making over $50,000 a month, and I was on the president's team. So the first month, was definitely the worst month. There's no doubt about that. Because it takes a few months and everyone else starts seeing what's happening to their checks and they start working harder and the whole thing goes completely out of control. Anyway, my question is, Mark, what do we do with someone this month that does that's been pitched already and does only 2,000 points? That means he has to do what next month to qualify as a supervisor?
If you pitched a person this month that's doing 2,000, then next month they do 2,000.
So the last time that a person can do 2,000 points and be a supervisor is this month?
That's right.
Okay.
That's absolutely right. Good question. It wouldn't be fair at this point to do it any other way. You know, I mean, we could say, go ahead and change on the guy, but you guys have already pitched him on a particular deal. We can't back out on it now. So you've told them 2,000 2 months in a row. They do 2,000 this month, they can do 2,000 next month. Okay? Starting the 1st of June, if you're going to start qualifying for supervisor, it's how much next month? 2,500 with how much unencumbered? 1,000. And the following month, 2,500 with 1,000 unencumbered. Okay?
You said that the roll-up money goes to the next 3 people that do 2,500 volume. Is that correct?
Right.
So you get paid on your first 3?
You always get paid
on your first
5% on your first 3.
And then on everything until you hit the next 3 people that do 2,500.
Well, it depends on the circumstances.
Okay.
Okay? If the first 3 people that you hit did 2,500, you've already gone through the first 3. Okay? If each one of these guys do 2,000, each person that doesn't do 5%, you always get to skip down generations until you keep going until you hit the first 3 that do 2,500. Now, does that mean that you could go, you're at 2,500, this person does 500, you get how much? 5%. This person does 1,000, you get how much? 5%. This one does 2,500. 5%. Okay? Now, let's do another one. Okay? Let's do that one over. This guy does 2,000. You get, well, how much? This one does 1,000, you get how much? This one does 500. Okay? Then this one down here does 500. Okay? This one earned 1% on this one, so 4 goes up. That keeps rolling down. Let's say you go down another 8 generations, and you get the one person that hits 2,500. There's 1. Then let's say you got 3 more people of 500. You keep skipping down till you get to another 2,500. That's 2. Then it skips another 5 generations of 500, and you hit the 3rd one. Because listen to this here. Okay, you're thinking, how is this possible? Okay? Well, these 3 people are all going to earn 5%. Okay? So those 3 people, okay, those are the ones that you get stuck on. Okay? Anything else in between is all got a percentage that's got a difference. That difference continues to roll up. Okay? But you still get to pass a generation because there's all these people in between that aren't getting the money. It's got to go to the first 3 people upline that do 2,500. So it goes up. Everybody who does 2,500, the first 3 2,500s are always going to get the difference money. All the way down to the first 3 people who do 2,500, no matter where they're at. Goes up and down. It's amazing the way this thing works. I mean, truly amazing, okay? Now, teach it this way because it's very simple. If you start getting much more complicated than that, you're going to get into a lot of questions and answers that start becoming very difficult because of the difference between who earned on what person at what time, okay? I would keep it like this. Keep it simple to the questions that we've talked about here tonight and say, listen, don't worry. Just do this. Be friendly to everybody in your organization. Tell them all, I love you. Let them do what they're going to do. And then remember, you're going to make money on everybody, all the way down to the first 3 people that hit the full volume requirement. And then the statement will tell you who you got it on all the way down, and you'll know exactly what happened. But what you're going to want to do is make sure that you work first line, so you go down line as deep as it can possibly go, and now you don't not only get to do that the first month, you can do that every month. For how long? Ever. I want you guys to dream, just this. Okay, all you got to think about is the first 3 levels, you earn 5%. If anybody in there on the 3 levels does less than 2,500, you get to start skipping down. Anybody that you skip down on, anything that they earn on percentage, the difference in the percentage rolls up to you. Okay, till you get to 3 people at 2,500. Okay, unless the first 3 people in line were 2,500, would you skip down? No. Would anything roll up? No. Okay, because the first 3 did 2,500. Okay, and with that, that's going to increase 2,500. You guys think about how many people you got doing 2,000. I know one thing for me. The biggest thing I'm thinking about is not so much all these different levels. Okay, all these different levels is great. All this different roll-up stuff, wonderful. Let me tell you what I'm thinking about. I got 20,000 people doing 2,000 a month. Okay? Now, 20, I don't know about you, but when you got 20,000 people a month, that could go to $500 more a month. Okay? Which equals $10 million next month. And that's the worst month. You get pretty excited. So what I'd be thinking about, okay, sure, the zeros are great, okay, sure, the roll-up's great, but what I'd be thinking about is we need to do some more business, okay, and we need to get to work like we've never gotten to work before in our entire lives. We need to pitch like we've never pitched in our entire life. We need to act like we've never acted in our entire life. We need to go like we've never gone in our entire life. Because here's one of the things we've got going for ourselves. First of all, this marketing plan is going to make a change in a lot of people's checks July 15th. Now, some of those are going to be $50 changes. To a guy that's doing $100, is a $50 change significant? Yes. Okay? And you need to point out to them how significant that is. That's called a 50% increase in your royalty override check. Okay? And if they have more business, just think of how it could affect their check. Okay? So what you need to talk to them about is how exciting that $50 is. Okay? And for the first, some of them are going to get $200 increases, some of them are going to get $1,500 increases, and we're going to have people that have $5,000 increases, and we're going to have people that have $8,000 increases, and this doesn't even include the production bonuses. Okay? And this doesn't include the 500 points more we're talking about where we're going to make a real money. So what we need to do, gang, we've got an opportunity here, a window of opportunity called that nobody else in the history of marketing has ever done this with the royalty system. So if there was ever a time to go, when would it be? Now, okay? Not next week, not next year, okay? Because let me tell you what needs to happen with this program. There's going to be a jump in the checks anyway, okay? That means you can run around, my check gone up as a result of the plan. Now, if we'll go to work, we can say, look how much it went up. It's really out of control. And then if we'll work harder than that the next month, we can say it's really unbelievable because now it's starting to kick in. And if we'll go ballistic in the next month and really go crazy, then we can say it's completely out of control. And then if we'll go absolutely bananas in the month of September and our checks get bigger, guess what the checks start doing to everybody? It starts waking your group up, okay? So what we got to concentrate on, okay, and this whole deal is going to be about this weekend, is having us jumpstart the program. That means us going back to work like we've never gone to work in our entire life. It means going absolutely crazy with recruiting like we've never recruited in our entire life. It means pitching our downline like we've never pitched in our entire life. And it means us getting our check up quicker than we ever have in our life, so life will be easier. So that you can go looky, 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 so that your check matches the pitch. Okay? And when your check matches the pitch, guess what happens to your organization that you guys have been out there going, go group, go. Go group, go. Okay? Right?
The Herbalife Broadcast Network presents Basic Training, featuring International President's Team member Nancy Tartol.
Well, we're here today to talk about how to get our business going. All of you are relatively new in the business. How many of you ever done a house party before? None of you? You tried it? Yeah. Okay. Well, how many of you have broken distributors with success orders?
I've more.
Not too many, huh? Okay. Well, my whole concept in doing these house parties is to help to introduce to the new distributor that they can become a supervisor, and I do everything in increments of 1,000 volume points. That is your success order. So when I have a brand new distributor come to me and they say, well, I want to make the most amount of money the quickest way, I suggest to them the house party concept, because that's how I got started in this business. When I started out, all I did was take my customers and develop them into house parties. And that is what got me going in the business, so that my husband was so impressed with my income that he quit his job and joined me. So that's how it all started. So how we're going to talk about house parties today is with the success order in mind, $1,000 volume point. Okay? Now, $1,000 volume point. Do you know how much products that is when you sell that? On your ABC brochures, all of you have had that, right? On your ABC brochure, 12 of these programs is your $1,000 volume point. So when you look at this, you're thinking in your mind, I need 12 people to buy at least the basic. Now, if you went to the B program or the C program, you would need even less. With the Dermagetics, the $108 volume point, so you need 10 people, and that would give you that $1,000 volume point. So I break everything down in my mind in increments of 10 is this, 12 is that, because for me it's easier to assimilate and to run with the ball, and I want you to teach your people to do the same thing. So how do you get your house party going? The first thing is your customer base is real important. The majority of your customers who are satisfied with the products will become distributors, and many of them will become distributors when they hear about how they can do a house party, because that's an easy way for them to earn this $420. And that's my goal. When they see this button, they say, well, how do I earn $420? I go, hey, give me a house party, and I'll show you how you can earn it. All right, so you want to get a house party going, you have a brand new customer. How about this case? You go in, you sell the products to somebody, and have you ever had someone say to you, oh, if I lose weight, you don't know how many people are going to want this program, right? Everybody says that, right? Okay, well, one lady had said that to me in Quincy, and she said, oh, when I lose that weight. I said, well, Teresa, how many people are watching you? Well, everybody in the secretarial pool, 15 people at least. I said, let me show you something. And I got a piece of paper out, and I showed her visually. I showed her right there in the spot, a customer, brand new exposure to Herbalife, and I showed her that if she only had 12 of those 15 people who were interested in buying just the basic program that she bought, that she could put an extra $420 in her pocket. And I said, what I want you to do is to get together with those people, have them over to your home. I will come in, I'll do all the talking, I'll have the products available, and all the profits can go towards yourself. And if you want, you can get the distributor kit going at the same time, or you can buy it now, whatever the case may be. Well, before I even got home, she'd contact those people, had the party all arranged, and we actually sold the $1,000 plus volume point, because it was already put in her mind. Okay? So this is the first thing. When you do your house party, you get your people together. There's some things you must make sure you have set up. And that is, the people who are coming to your party have to be deadly serious about losing weight. And when you set it up with the new person who's being the hostess of the party, you tell them, listen, Susan, I want you to have only deadly serious people at this house party, because if you have somebody there who you just want to fill the room up to make me impressed, what's going to happen is that the people who really want to lose weight and get help by the products are going to be intimidated by the person who's just sitting there just to fill space. So you want people who are really serious. Even if it's only 4 people, they're serious, that's all you care about. That's the first thing. The second thing is I tell my hostess who's setting up the party, when she contacts her contacts for the party, make sure she tells them that all the products will be available that night. That way the people are coming with the intention of purchasing. They have their checks available, their credit cards, whichever method of payment you want at your parties. All right, so if you tell your hostess to do all these things, it helps your party be a little bit easier. Now, when I have a brand new distributor, I want that success order from them, and I suggest to them this house party idea. My house parties are house parties on products. They are not business opportunities, but like everybody else, you're always looking for the person who's interested in the business as well. So prior to the party, I've talked with the hostess, and I say, who in the group there are people who you might think would be interested in this kind of a business, who would like to do these kind of parties also? And she will give me some names, and I will be more in tune with those people with the follow-up and helping her with the follow-up, because I'm looking at them for the opportunity end. Or I could pull them aside quietly after the party. But I don't really talk business opportunity at my house party. We focus on one thing: lose the weight, feel great, look good, that deal. All right? So when you go to the house party, I do make shakes up. I make 2 flavors. I usually do the Dutch chocolate in the skim milk or low-fat milk. And I also do the vanilla, because that way you have a choice for people to pick. And I usually make it in a fruit punch, because people tend to like that, with ice cubes and the whole bit. You have the thermal beverage in front of you now. The same thing happens at my party. I want them to have the thermal beverage. The people who are the guests are drinking that beverage as they're going along. The brochures, I do not give them at the party when they first come in. Sometimes they give you the brochures, when you come into like a different type of house party, not an Herbalife party. And what happens is everybody's looking at the brochure instead of paying attention to me. So what I do is the brochure is given at the end of the party. What you can do is give them the retail order from the beginning and tell them to mark down whatever interests them as they go along, or you can also give the retail form with the product brochure at the end. Because it's real simple with this ABC deal. Which program do you want to use, the A, B, or C? All right. So if it's a brand new distributor, she has no products, I bring my products. If it's a brand new distributor and she puts her success order in, it comes in from the company, we're all set up for the house party. All right, any questions so far on that?
Well, if it's a distributor with a success order, do you guide them into what they should be buying?
Most definitely. Because that success order to me is something I want to move fast. And since I do use that party concept, I usually tend to go towards the weight control, all right, as well as the dermagetics, because that's an unbelievable party as well. Okay, I combine my 2 parties. All right, the other thing, too, is with the success order they're placing in there, even if they don't have a house party, because not everybody wants to have a house party, they say, well, I'm a little intimidated, I don't know anybody. I put it in their mind about the 12 people or the 10 people. Because even if they don't have the actual party, they're getting people on the street they're meeting or at work, etc., and they may be selling it that way. But the concept is there, and that's the main thing. Because now the party's starting. What I do is I have everybody sitting around in a sofa, whatever, they're all facing me. I'm standing up, and I tell the story of the company first, because I want them to know that Herbalife is a legit company. It's been around, and we're here to help them. We have staying power. Okay? So I tell a little bit about the track record, which you all know. The 15 years, we're a publicly held company. It all adds to what we are. And also, I talk about how we are international, how we've helped thousands and millions of people not only lose their weight, but keep their weight off. And now we have a whole new division called Dermagetics, which is the most phenomenal product for the actual, skin, that type of thing. So I tell a little bit about the company, and then I go into asking the button response. Now, all of you know the button response, but let's go over it again, okay? Many people say, well, the button response is great when I wear a button, but the button response is the foundation to your job ad, or your weight loss ads when they call in. It also is the foundation to your house parties. Because in the button response, it keeps you, as the person giving the party, focused, so you don't go off on tangents and have a 5-hour party. Because, us Herbalife distributors, we're all excited about the products. And we can talk forever. Okay, well, they don't want to hear us forever. When they become Herbalife distributors, you can talk together, but in the meantime, you got to be precise. So the button response is really important. So I start off with my parties, and I basically say, are you serious? Now, I'm not going to say, are you serious? But I'll say, now, all of you are here today because you are seriously interested in losing weight, right? That's what I say. Okay, then I don't want to say how many pounds do you want to lose at a house party, like I would with a button, because I don't want to embarrass anybody. So you may want to say on a sheet of paper that you may have, or on your little order form or whatever, write down, and just a little secret list, write down the amount of pounds you want to lose, just so you can think about it. Now, when I do a button response, that's important, how many pounds you want to lose, because it makes them visualize their situation. I have 72 pounds to lose, they're thinking about it. Or if they say I have 5 pounds to lose and they have 50 pounds to lose, it also tells you there's a denial going on there, okay? So that's real important to make them look at themselves, how many pounds do you want to lose, okay? The next one is, what kind of diets have you been on before? That is the foundation to your whole party. That is so important. So you have serious people there already, and you're going through each one of those individuals and you're asking them, and what kind of diets have you been on before? And I make each person in the room talk about the diets they've been on. And people love to talk about themselves, their experience with dieting. I mean, every woman out there was born with a calorie counter and a tape measure, right? So they love talking about and their war stories. So I like having them talk about it, because if they're talking and relaxing, they're going to listen to me with better ears. Plus, once again, it's teaching each person who's listening to my response to the person about their weight. It's going to teach them a lot about my products. So let's go over a few real fast here, okay? Let's say, for example, you have someone who says, well, I'm on a slim fast type of thing. And if you're a brand new distributor, that might really freak you out. They might say, oh, I'm not going to tell them about my program, Well, it's real simple. So I say to them, I say, okay, and how did it work for you? Write that down. How did it work for you? Whatever they tell you they've been on, you always say, how did it work for you? And they'll say, well, I was on it and I lost, 8 pounds. I couldn't stay with it. I was hungry and irritable and I want food. I got to have food, Well, what I say then is, well, you're just going to love our program then, because you went to Slim Fast for the convenience. And we have that kind of convenience. The difference is, not only are you going to feel good, you're not going to want that food, and you're going to look great. I got more to tell you about that. Next one. But see, I brought the convenience, because she did go to it originally, or he, for the convenience. I remember he. Okay, now the next one. Let's say you have someone who says they went to a clinic and paid someone to help them lose the weight. That's a great one. Now remember, all the time when you're asking these questions, you are not just answering that one person. Everyone in that room is being educated by what you say. Okay? So for example, if the person says, I was at, let's say, Nutrisystem, I'll say, great, don't knock anybody's program down. If you do that, that only means you're insecure about your own. It will all come back and bite you. All right? Believe me. Be proud about what you have and be secure by not knocking anybody else's program. So I say to them, and how did it work for you? And the person, and this is a real story, the person said, well, I lost 30 pounds. Now let's get real here. The person sitting at my house party, they want to lose weight. So it didn't really work for them. Yes, they lost 30 pounds, but did they gain it all back, or they still have more to go? Why aren't they with it again? So I say then, you lost 30 pounds, great. How long did it take you to lose those 30 pounds? Oh, 4 months. All right, so it took you 4 months to lose 30 pounds. Now, Rosie, how much did those 30 pounds, see how I reiterate that 30 pounds? How much did those 30 pounds cost you to lose? It's amazing. $3,000 sometimes, $4,000. And everybody in that room is listening to this. And they're like, oh my goodness. Okay, so that's how you bring that type of program where people pay to have their weight off. Okay, let's say you have somebody come in and say they were Weight Watchers. How did it work for you? Same type of thing. And they may say Weight Watchers, and you'll say, great, how did it work for you? Well, I did fine, but I got really tired of counting the calories. You'll love our program, Pam, because you don't have to count calories on this. In fact, I used to be at Weight Watchers, and I would be so excited that I lost my weight for the week that I would go out and celebrate on the way home at the donut shop. And then I would be depressed the next week because I didn't lose any weight, and I would be depressed. I went to the donut shop again because I was depressed, so it didn't work for me. But some people have a food addiction, and that kind of triggers it.
So
So Nancy, what you're doing is right up front, you're addressing all of the possible negatives, right?
Exactly.
So you're setting the tone in a very positive way for the meeting.
Right, and you're in control. And so if you ask these type of questions, you're always in control. It's when you say, okay, ask me all the questions you want, so you're out of control. By asking these and directing the thing, you're in control, and your parties can be a much better success. Plus, the people in the room are going to be so educated. I have left parties where people have said to me, thank you so much. I can't believe how much I learned. I said, well, that's great. So the thing is, you want to help the people out by having them go through their own history. All right, another question. Okay, what kind of diets have you been on before? How did it work for you? And then you tell them about your program. And how you tell about your program is through your own testimony. If you're already slim and trim and you look fantastic, and you're using the Herbalife Cellular Nutrition program basically for nutrition, then maybe you don't have a really hot story as far as weight loss goes. That doesn't mean you can't tell a story. There are plenty of people at your meetings, in the journals, your upline, myself, for example. Use anybody else's story. In fact, what I do for all my meetings is I bring my picture, because most people can't imagine that I ever had a weight problem or a serious weight problem. And so what I do is I bring my pictures and I tell them a little bit about myself. Be human, because you have people who've been beaten up in the public. They're always looking to lose weight. They go from yo-yos, the whole syndrome, and they're beaten up. They want to hear that you're just like them and you found something. So you want them to have that kind of, eager beaver type of, I can't wait to get on this thing. So what I do is I tell them a few stories, and I'll share them real fast with you. First of all, I tell them, I say, listen, I'm an overeater. I can eat everybody out of house and home. I don't get sick. I can eat 5 pounds box of candy, which I have done by myself, and I'm not even sick. I envy those people who eat too much and get sick. Not me. And then I also tell them I ask them questions. I say, like, how many of you have ever lied while you dieted? And some will raise their hand, some won't. I said, those that are not raising their hand are lying. And I'll say, let me tell you about myself. Not only being an overeater, I'm also a liar to cheat. So, when my husband had bought some Heavenly Hash ice cream, and I was at my heaviest, it was in the freezer. It was only myself there in the house who could attribute eating it. I opened up the little piece of it, had a little cup full, and I said, just a little bit for breakfast. That's all. It's my coffee cup. Instead of coffee, I'll have the ice cream. How many of you have done that? And the next thing you know, you're walking by it throughout the day. You're taking a little teaspoon, tablespoon as the day goes. Well, by the end of the day, there was no more ice cream. It was a half a gallon, totally digested. I wasn't even sick. I was sick, thinking my husband was coming home and asking where dessert was, but I was, this is unbelievable. And I ate the whole thing, and I thought, here he comes, he's going to see me, I'm 215 pounds, and he's like, Nancy, would you please stop eating? So, he comes to the front door, and I say, Jim, you aren't going to believe what an exciting day we had today. The electricity went out, and everything melted in the freezer. See, so the lying is a real thing, right, guys? So what I want people to do in that room is to relax, and I want them to think about their history, what they've been through, because if I can lose weight on this program, they can do too. All right, so I show my pictures. I tell them. And I tell them the pains that I went through. I don't go into a long dissertation, but I make it human, and I make them see themselves through me. All right? And then I tell them about our program. So I have all the products out, and I go through our A program, and I explain why it works, our B program, and our C program. And then I say we also have some special products, and I go through all of them as well. Just a little blip, but you have in your manual. Okay? I go through that as well. A little blib on each one.
When you say special products, do you mean the targeted products or
The targeted products.
You don't go over like thermogenics on its own?
Well, I do in my description of A, B, and C.
Okay.
Now, if I'm running short of time, which usually isn't the problem, because most of my house parties are an easy hour and a half to 2 hours, I do go into the powder provides your body with a meal substitute, protein, carbohydrates. I do go into that. I explain the vitamin tablet number 2. How many of you are taking vitamins right now? Some raise their hands, some don't. Well, you'll love our vitamins. If you have vitamins, put yours aside. We're going to use this one for now because we have herbs in ours. Makes it a little bit different. And we take ours 3 times a day. The reason why you take it 3 times a day is because it's not chemically coated with a time release on it. This way you're replenishing your body as the day goes on. You're going to feel fantastic. So I teach them as I go along. So they feel real secure about the products they're using. The last party I did when Dermagenics first came out, it was a great party. We sold the Cellular Nutrition weight loss program, and there were 3 people there who were not overweight at all. and they were given facials, and all three of them bought the program Dermagetics. So we blended it real nice together. It worked out really well. The hardest part of a house party is the clothes. I won't joke with you. I've bombed many house parties in the beginning because of the clothes. What I find by giving the brochure out at the end of the party, it makes it a lot easier. Because when I give the prices at the end, the A, B, C, I tell them that the price for the A is X number of dollars. That includes my tax and shipping in my town, because I'm not going to tell them it's X number and then I add on tax and shipping. The total amount they're going to owe is what I give them. So the A program, let's say it's $102. The B program may be $150, whatever it is in your area, the total amount. So when they write their form up, they'll put down A, Dutch chocolate, B, Dutch chocolate, whatever. Okay? And I hand it out to each of them. The hostess and I go to each person sitting at the sofa, the table, whatever, and we hand them the brochure and the order form with our name already on it. It's all filled out, and we say, okay, now to get started with the program, you just put down A, B, or C. Which one would you like to have, Mary? And right there, and they'll ask questions right there, and they're very comfortable with it because no one feels like they're being pushed because they're excited by that time.
Do you find that people think it's too expensive?
That's a great question. If I go through all the different diets that people have been through, they're seeing years and years of money wasted, energies wasted, frustration. They see $3,000 spent and losing 30 pounds and still having more weight to lose or gaining it back. That's why these questions are real important, because they make the person relive the experience. So if you show them that you have the product that works, you are the personal story of why it works, it's not a problem at all. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. What do you do if you've invited several guests and one or two show up?
You do the party. It doesn't make any difference. All right, now the other thing is the clothes. That's really important, okay? The clothes, like I said, you hand out these things to each individual, the clothes, and as I'm handing out, I say to the people, don't forget, all the products are available tonight, and we're going to start tomorrow morning. We're ready for it. At the house parties, I show them all the different tools we have, like the Advanced Energy Guide. I may pull out a few examples of different foods that people always eat and not realize that they're high in fat. Make it fun. It's a lot of fun. Okay, and the most important thing is you're having a brand new distributor help to sell that success order or create a success order for themselves, whatever the case may be. It's a lot of fun, and you're building your customer base.
What's the best time to make a party? What's the best day of the week?
I like evenings, and the best time is whenever they're going to be there. How's that? They're there, I'm there. Doesn't make any difference.
Is there something to help ensure that you have a good turnout?
Yes, making sure the only people who are there are people who are deadly serious about losing weight. Just make sure you know what kind of party you have. Okay, because that helps you decide how you're going to ask the questions. You're not going to ask a bunch of people who want just nutrition about the different kind of diets and how many pounds they want to lose. So that button response would apply.
How long are you trying to do party? I mean, how long does it take? I mean, 1 hour?
Mine are an hour and a half to 2 hours. But they're fun. They're a blast. They go so fast. And then we have shakes afterwards, and we taste it and everything else. It's real fun. But it's fun if you work the group. And the house party, the button response that we went over earlier, is what really helps you work the group. It really gives you a lot of flexibility.
You prefer to serve the thermal beverage and the shakes afterwards?
No,
or
that's
in the beginning?
all beginning. It's always there.
And also mask. Some people you do in the beginning, and while they're listening to you, they
Well, I haven't done that one yet. My facials are towards the end, okay? But, you can do it any way you want. The most important thing is that you close them with a real positive attitude. They know ahead of time the products are going to be available. That makes a big difference, okay? And once you get these parties going, I mean, we have people, Marilyn Farrington, 70 years old, drives up to Maine to do house parties from Boston. And she has some parties that she makes like $800 in one night. Once you get the thing going, it's really great. But remember, you ask the questions, you're in control. They ask the questions, you lose control. Not that you can't answer the questions, but it makes you nervous, especially if you're a new distributor up there doing it. So follow the button response, okay? So that's how you do your house parties. Let's get one booked. And if you want me to come and help you, I'll be more than happy to.
Great.
Okay? Great.